people have seen me do it. Right? But I can't see many more people doing it. And why? Why can't I show these people what's, you know what I mean? I've had to learn all this, and we're dealing with gangsters, and we're dealing with organised crime. And as I say, a public servant paid by the state, sitting in judgment of their masters. Sure, it doesn't take the brains of Einstein to tell you that that's wrong.
Of course not. It's clearly evident. I mean, we couldn't have made it more. We couldn't have explained it more plainly for those listening out there that these places are purely corporations. They no longer represent the people. They've not done for quite some time. They're just there to simply facilitate the greed and the lust of these private banksters. Patrick, we can have a cup of tea, brother.
Yeah, okay then, right?
Right, we've got a couple of minutes. Andy, do you want to give out some phone numbers and so people can phone in and have a chat with Patrick? Because in the second half, we're going to be going into the solutions, how we can hold these people to account.
We need the remedies.
Yes,
right?
indeed.
It's got to be one of the horror stories, but we need remedies.
That's right, and we shall get into them in the second hour, Patrick, shan't we?
Yeah, thank you. That's good.
Yeah, here we are. We'll have a cup of tea. And Andy, do you want to give out the phone numbers, mate? I've not got them in front of me. And we'll have a cup of tea, is it, or what?
Yeah.
freedomtalkradio.co.uk.
Let's go!
This is the most diverse, most amazing, one of the funniest radio stations you could ever listen to on the internet. I've heard so much stuff from the ups, the downs, the left, the right.
The politics, the non-politics, the schmolitics, whatever you want to call them.
It's great.
Yeah, the number to call from the USA and Canada is 347-677-0812. From around the world, it's 001-347-677-0812. From the UK, it's 01444-390-270. That's 01444-390-270. Just a shout out for next week's Common Law Court of Wales show. We have Muzdip. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And we've got Karen Annette. Don't forget, tomorrow night we have Edmund Dantis regarding Chester Social Services, 7 p.m. tomorrow night. 5 p.m. Saturday is Sherry Sander Kelly and myself with Brian Clare, child abuse campaigner and survivor. If you want a bit of spiritual on Sunday at 5 p.m. UK, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, it's live healing with the psychic surgeon Andrew Porter. So we'll just put you back onto Darren now.
Cheers, Andy. Right, okay, so we're going to be joined this half by Neil Chowdhury, who we had on the show a couple of weeks ago. Fantastic campaigner, whistleblower, and exposer of the corrupt system. Now, we're hoping to get Reverend Rosemary Dalton on. She should be phoning in at some point, Andy. Now, I do have a Skype here. Would I be able to add it to this call? Is it as simple as that, or what?
You could try it, but I don't think it works that way anymore.
Oh, all right, well, she said she'd give us a ring. Basically, Reverend Rosemary, she's from Missouri. Some listeners may remember a couple of weeks back. She was the lady who phoned in. She was quite upset at the time. She explained how the children had been, or at least her son had been stolen off her when she was a young mum, and the problems and the battles she had for justice. Now, she phoned in, Rosemary, and of course she was quite upset at the time. And I mean, it wasn't the kind of subject that it would go into lightly. I mean, it deserved a bit more time, and you just couldn't cram it into a show. So, in any case, I contacted Rosemary after the show a couple of days later, and we got bumping a few ideas off each other and whatnot. And basically, the essence of it was a crime on one is a crime on all. And within this day of the internet and whatnot, we could hold them, when I say them, the system, the private banking Ponzi scheme that keeps everyone in debt, slavitude. We could hold them to account. Now, it was a very, vague idea, and we kind of built on it. I mean, I took it to the group here in Wales, and I spoke to a couple of people about it, and I also spoke to Neil Shahowdy about it. Is Neil in yet, Andy?
No, it works. You have to say that you're calling her in, and then I do what you say.
Oh, there are. Well, get Neil lined up then, right? Because we're almost ready. If that's possible. But in any case, we hope to have these two, Neil and Rosemary, myself and Patrick, and we're going to discuss how we can get things sorted out, within the people and different remedies, including setting up grand juries, common law courts, and maybe if it could be possible to do something on an international level with the technologies that are available today. I don't see. Oops, what we got there?
Neil's coming on this way.
There we go.
Hello.
Is there any law?
Yes, I'm here, Darren. Hi.
Good evening. I was just letting the listeners know about. I hope to be joined by a lady, Rosemary Dalton, who I spoke to before the show about briefly, and yourself. Now we got Patrick with us this evening, and we're just going to go into some solutions now. Myself, you, and Andy, and a few others have been talking about certain remedies we can do whilst using the modern technology we have. Would you like to give the listeners a little insight into the kind of ideas we've been floating about, and then Patrick, it'd be great to hear your comments on it also. Then after that,
Right. Okay.
brilliant.
All right. Well, I mean, I call myself like an advocate for India and Pakistan for the legal system there. Being based in the UK, I have a good insight into the laws that apply with my niece's death as well, with the dead body in India. I found out that there is no law in India to do private post-mortem, so they've now enacted the coroner bill in India, and there were 100,000 deaths in India every year of men who've married women for money, dowry, fraud, and then killed the woman and taken her on holiday and dropped the body somewhere. There's no process for investigating a body when it's found outside the state in which they live. So I'm quite interested in looking at all the flaws. And then there's the border fraud. I'm looking at the fraud of the border between India and Pakistan and whether it's legitimate and whether, my mum and dad were born in that land, or that was India before, it's now called Pakistan, and they still have their heritage there. So where is this going? I mean, we're international, and because we've got trafficking of humans, we've got trafficking of babies with these two children, Elisa and Gabriel. There are issues of these babies coming from all over the world, allegedly. So, there's issues with the embassies, the foreign embassies, the home offices, and even the airports are implicated. And also,
I'd say, sorry, Nico, I'd say you're absolutely correct that this is an international thing, and the web does span across all continents, facilitated, has to be, by these private airports and things. So we've got plenty of evidence out there that these things are going on. Yet we find that the authorities are just ignoring the people, putting gag orders on them, suppressing them every way possible. So it seems plainly evident that the people need to do something amongst themselves. We can no longer rely upon the old mechanics, the system, the government, the MPs that are supposed to represent us, the solicitors, and all the system and all the little cogs within it. It does nothing for the people. So we got to set these courts up. We've got all these people to account. What's your thoughts? How do we start doing it, guys?
Well, I think with the Monday meetings outside the Royal Court of Justice in London, in the UK, there's quite a regular group there that could easily turn into a common law court or common law high court between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. I mean, there are these training manuals by the National Liberty Alliance.org and ITCCS.org. There are these opportunities for people to sit on the juries in these common law high courts. So people need to get interested in fixing things, need to network with other people who are already down the road. And then we have got the groups meetings all over the UK, I believe. People who are victims, there are various groups. They all will need to network together so that we're all one united force. And I think this radio program is a very good platform for bringing everybody together. And Patrick's a great guy. You know, he's a leader of, I would say, the leader who could network everybody together.
Yes, I'd agree with that. With the small amount of time I've had to research Patrick, he's certainly a warrior, and he's been out there fighting the good fight for some time now. Now, we briefly mentioned whistleblowers, forgive me, false flags earlier, and next week's show we'll be joined more with Mohab Deeb, who is the producer and writer of 7/7 Ripple Effect. So, if anyone who's unfamiliar with false flags and what these governments will do to implement their agenda, then tune in for that one. Now, talking about scrappers and fighters, we got Rosemary Dalton on the line there, Andy, do we?
Yes, we do.
We sure have.
All right.
Can you hear
Rosemary,
me?
let me introduce you to the gentleman Patrick Lengilili and my dear friend Nilo Shahodi and Andy Feature from Freedom Talk Radio. Now, I've told the listeners briefly about how you phoned in, I guess it's a couple of months ago now, Rosemary, and how we followed up that short conversation in depth later, and how we kind of sprung a few ideas off each other. One of which we've been talking about this evening, which was the idea that we had about getting something international set, with the technologies available to us in the modern world, that we can. This system spans across many continents, and we're all suffering under the same circumstances, the same, you know, it's like almost mirrors. I mean, we've got common purpose over there, and we've got common code over here, or it may be vice versa. I'm not quite sure now. But the point is this: we discussed how maybe we could get something international over the internet going to hold these people to account. And I think it was you who said that a crime upon one is a crime upon all. And in this day and age, we surely should be able to pull together as one and sort these people out. So, having said that, would you like to tell your the listeners, you know, your version of the accounts, and then I'll hand it to Nilo and Patrick, who are very much like-minded people, and we'll talk solutions. So, kick on, Red.
Well, it wasn't. I did say that a month ago. So I've created. I created an organization, and I didn't just create it. I made a company. It's called MAFA LLC. It's a limited liability company, and it's profited by. It's funded by the people. Rosemary. Yes.
Rosemary, Andy's asking, we're not being able to hear you very clearly. Is it possible to turn your mic up slightly?
Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, that's right, Andy. We weren't able to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that seems a lot better. Do you hear Patrick?
Yeah, that's better.
Nilo?
All right.
Yes, that's fine.
Right. So,
okay.
yeah, Rosemary, forgive me, I wasn't going to go in so much to the thing that you're in the very early stages of doing just yet. because you did say earlier, and I agree, that you might not want to say too much about that this evening. But what I would like to talk about is the idea of using the internet as a modern medium in order to bring these people to account on an international level. And the idea is that's
the worldwide court. Gotcha, the worldwide court. Yeah, I brought the idea to your attention because under the need to IHR laws, the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution clearly states that we are the people. And under the 14th Amendment, it's a treaty. The 14th Amendment, it clearly has a supremacy clause. And in that supremacy clause, when the government is no longer for the people, then the government is no longer exist. And that means the people are supposed to take an effect. Well, how do we do that? The UN is not doing their job. Nobody else is looking out for the people. If we all pull together in every continent, and we are the people, and we form what you call a worldwide court, we are the people. We are the governing bodies. We are the sovereignists of our own countries. So if we pull together, we create a court, and we can hold these people liable because they work for us. We don't work for them. It's our money that funds them, not them fund us. So if we can do all that, and they're our paper pushers, and they're being corrupted, and they're doing things wrong, why can't we hold them accountable as a unit, as a one and whole? If we form together in all continents, and we develop a worldwide court, a common law court, because we all have the same treaty with one country, we can hold them liable. It states it in the Supremacy Clause if we can.
That's quite right, because the Constitution is evolved from the Bill of Rights and the Magna Carta and the Book of Dom and others before that. I mean, you're quite right. It is more or less the same contract. Nilo, what do you think? Is a very familiar idea to what we've been speaking to lately, or what?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%.
It is going to take a lot of work, though.
100%. The people are sovereign, and these people are our servants, and they've got assumed powers, and they're abusing it, and we've got to set up something to bring them to justice. You've got the English Constitution, Magna Carta 1215, Article 38 reads, but they ignore all of this, and this is the law of the land. In future, no official should put anyone to trial merely on his own testimony, without reliable witnesses produced for this purpose. That was Article 38. Article 39, no freeman shall be arrested or imprisoned or deprived of his freehold or outlawed or banished or in any way ruined, nor will we take or order action against him except by the lawful judgment of his equals, trial by jury, trial by his peers, and according to the law of the land. Article 40, to no one will we sell, to no one will we deny or delay right of justice. Article 45, we will appoint as justices, constables, sheriffs, or bailiffs only such as know the law of the realm and mean to observe it well. Now, none of this is respected by any of these people operating in positions of power in the UK. And they've all taken over positions of power to actually pervert the course of justice. They're committing high treason.
And that goes for every country out there that's doing the same thing.
It's the same thing. The same thing in Ireland. The very same thing in Ireland. And it's the same thing in America.
In the United States. That's right.
Yeah.
In Australia, Canada, it's all happening everywhere. This is a worldwide issue.
It's a worldwide issue.
Yes. And the supremacy laws of the lands should be activated. And that's what I suggest.
Yeah, I wonder if this has been done before, Rosemary, the internet-based so that you've got, say, 12 juries, one in different, each of 12 countries, say, and then you make an international decision about, say, about traveling and visas and borders and passports and things. I mean, we need people to be able to leave a country. It's more like that we're imprisoned because we can't leave without visas and passports. It's just to get people mobilized to be with their families.
It's going to take a lot of work. Not it will. But it's going to take all the sovereigners of the countries.
Yeah, but it's undeniable. I mean, now's the time. It cannot be ignored no more. Me and Patrick, we kind of drilled into this a bit in the first half. We're all in. Patrick. They're smashing our communities. They're smashing our families. They're stealing our homes and breaking up, stealing everything. Our resources, our water even.
And that is their modus operandi, to break up the family, break up the communities, and they're actually treating us like cattle. They're milking us. They're milking us dry.
Yeah, I think the people are tapped out at this point, though, Patrick, and it's time. As Rosemary has alluded, and Neil will testify also the same there in India. A dear friend and a member of the court, Brian, Pearl and Kevin, they got an adopted son from India. His name is Carl. He's actually with them now, and his wife. So hello, Carl, and partner. She's turning into a little Welsh girl. Carly was Ranso there, I believe, but that's another story. But the point is this: every continent under the so-called crown has suffered the same injustices. The courts are set up the same to facilitate it. We as people, as Patrick has outlined, have mechanisms that have been placed within law in times gone by for exactly the reason that we are going to implement them for now, and that is to regain and hold these people to account. Now, we've got a unique opportunity in history where before now we've always been separated as a people, and they've been able to play us off against each other, sometimes in war even. But nevertheless, they've always been able to play each other off economically, so that that continent will be the sweatshop for a few years, then over a year, and they'll have a boom, this one will have a crash. But this time round, we're all aware of the situation. There's lights of awareness, there's beacons of light on each continent that are aware. We are networking, we have the law, we know we are correct in what we are doing. No, well, I'll go far to say correct, I'll go even further. It is our duty to do what we are doing. So we are now taking steps to do this. In Wales, we're very much getting together now strong. We're getting strong foundations and preparing to do exactly that, which is to hold these people to account. But again, we can do this internationally at the same time. And again, next week's guest, Kevin Annette, he is that is on an international level within common law also. So that'll be very interesting indeed. But when you say we're going to take over the buildings of the courts, Patrick, is that really a tangible, feasible thing when in consideration that they got the police, they got the guns, and they can just simply drag us out, lock us up and kick us up, and lock us into prison? Would it be, isn't it more, men could order, 25 people could do a court in a field if necessary, Patrick, couldn't we?
Yeah, of course. And you can't go into court. I'm not saying to go into court on your own. And I'm saying to go in the same as they went in Cork. And even though Patrick Lynch got arrested, but there will be ramifications for them guys yet, because we will bring them to book. We will bring them to book now, and we will demand a trial by jury.
Absolutely.
We will start the action in front of a motion judge. Now, the motion judge, he's only got jurisdiction to grant an injunction for anyone who would say that's persecuting you until the case is actually heard by your peers. Cannot hear the case. He cannot hear the case. He's got no jurisdiction to hear the case. He can only put it down for a jury hearing. Now, that's coming about in Cork. It's coming about here in the UK because they know we know the law.
Yes, you're quite right. But what I can't help is niggling away at me, and it's this. I mean, if they can rig elections, they rig the stock market daily. They rig in everything. So surely, in this day and age, you can't expect them to give us a fair jury. I mean, they've infiltrated every group that's ever stood up. Surely they would have sitters on the jury. I mean, that wouldn't be too difficult for them to sort out. How would we know these people are really, really from us? We would have to take them from the community.
Well, they can't be public servants. They cannot be public servants. It's as simple as that. Now, you've had judges, you've had solicitors, you've had the police, you've had the guards and the sitting and juries. That's not a jury. That's what they call a rigged jury or a stacked jury.
That's right.
You cannot have anyone in public service. A public servant cannot sit on a jury.
No. We've
had a situation here where Sherry Blair sat on a jury. Sherry Blair, she's a QC.
That's right.
Jury.
It's incredible. Now, with the Rosemary case, she had her son stolen off her by social services in collusion with the health services over there. Now, the same thing happened, but with more of the tragic circumstances where Yonis actually was killed whilst in the hands of these monsters. So, I mean, what I'm getting at is these things are done behind closed doors, and they're kept behind closed doors with gagging orders, and they really twisted the law in order to hide their crimes. What do you think, ladies?
I think we should hold them accountable.
Yeah,
I think we ought to.
Sorry, go on. I'm going to say that it seems that this whole planet has been run by Satanists, and this illusion has been that we thought that we had leaders and governments, but actually we were being enslaved by the devil and the devil worshippers, and so what we're having to do is a clean up. Right? We're going, suddenly this structure is going to dissolve now that the satanic rituals are out, in the schools in the UK, in the global training centre in Hampstead. So we know that the problem, the roots of the evil of the planet has been in London, and we're now going to have to rebuild the children, the school, the education. I mean, these children, they need so much rehabilitation after this trauma. We're talking about hundreds of children who've been witnessing these rituals. And so we've got to rebuild the planet how we want it once once the light is shining on these rituals. We can basically forget about them because they're going to be running because there's nowhere for them to hide, and there are too many victims and just a handful of these guys. So it's not a big problem for us. It's just that the repairing we've got to do with the children and the parents of these who've been separated, and bringing the children back to their parents. And all we've got to do is sit in our common law courts. Maybe we'll assemble on a Monday between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. outside the Royal Courts of Justice, and just make proclamations of independence from the Crown, the Vatican, Church and State, like Kevin Annett has done. And then we can hold the court there. It'd be a good place to hold it in London, and bring all the remedies in all the public services to pick out the sickness from the health service, the local authorities, and there are a majority of people in public service are good people, but when you've got the minority of Satanists, you've got to empower the majority of good people to say you're not going to take those panic orders anymore. You're going to act with honor. You can say no, and you can even arrest them under common law and do a citizen's arrest on your bosses if they don't either step down or cease and desist. Give them a notice of dishonor and sack them and arrest them and report them to the police. I just no. I don't. If people are willing to whistleblow on their seniors, superiors, then presumably they can be vindicated. Is that right, Patrick?
Yeah, of course they can. Of course they can. They're upholding the law, and this is actually what I was going to say there. When a policeman comes out and he's actually the spokesperson, and his colleagues know, and it's pointed out to him that this guy is breaking the law, they've got a duty to arrest that guy, and this is what should be happening. Now we've also got the army. We should have the soldiers. They should be back in our own country anyway. What are they doing abroad? Why are they put out abroad? They're put out abroad by the same Satanists, fighting false flag wars so that they can terrorize and oppress the actual people.
That's what Kevin Annett is going to. He's already done that very successfully, hasn't he? He's gone and stopped these rituals. He's actually stopped them in several places, using the public servants and empowering them to do that, isn't it? And we just need to do that in the UK, I believe.
We need to do it they need to do it in America. They need to do it in Ireland. They need to do it in England and Australia. Now, I was telling you there a while ago about John Wilson. He actually set up the Common Law Party in Australia. So if anyone wants to find out who John Wilson is, he's a good man. He's a good man, and he's done an awful lot of work, and he's around an awful long time. And John Wilson, he set up the Common Law Party in Australia, and you can do a Google search on that, and you will find John Wilson. And he is exactly saying the same thing as we are, that we the people, we are the power. We are the law. 12 of our equals make the law in a jury.
That's exactly right.
The law is not made up by judges. It's not made up by public servants. It's not made up by the police. It's made by the people, for the people. And this is it, and we've got to go back to it. We've got to go back to it. We're going no place unless we target in on that, and we've got the law behind us. And hopefully there's an awful lot of people waking up now, actually, in the police. I've been speaking to the police off record, and they agree with me. I've been in courts. I've had a fight. I've had wars in the courts. The police have been called to arrest me. They didn't arrest me. They did not arrest me. And when I had finished and I had beat the judges, I got the thumbs up from the police who were called to arrest me. Now they were turning towards me, right? So I was the only one that seen it. So they're not all corrupt. And I wouldn't be able to operate like I am if they were all corrupt. But they're afraid. The judges are afraid of the ones that are actually beginning to turn. So that is interesting, and I have seen it. So all the police are not corrupt, but you'll get the one, like Nilo said, the Satanist, and they will be the spokesperson, and they're prepared to do the crime. But the other ones, then you see, will just stand by and do nothing. But they should arrest them.
Patrick, can I show you a moment that I had on Monday when I went for the demonstration outside the Royal Court of Justice? Belinda Mackenzie was there, and she pointed out Judge Mumby there, buying his sandwich across the road to the court, and I followed him back into the court across the road, and I just said to him, "Sir, is it right, sir, that we have Judge Porfley sitting behind closed doors in the children's court, dealing with harassment alleged by the father and the council against the children and the mother?" I said, "Is it right, sir, that Satanists are running the parliament and the courts in this country, sir?" And he said to me, he said, "I can't talk about that right now." So I wonder if he had, he's going to work on that problem that we have identified recently.
No, that guy should be gone. He should be in jail. That mum presiding over all this high treason. It's high treason.
Mm.
How can you have a court, a secret court, that you allow no member of the public in to actually scrutinise what's going on? It shouldn't have been there anyway in the first instance. Magna Carta prevents that from happening. It's got to be open, and justice is supposed to be seen to be done.
And that's what's not happening.
These Satanists must be very scary people. They must be scaring the judges and the parliamentarians. I don't know.
But you see, the good people also need the support of the people. They need actually the support of the people. And if the people are not going out there demanding their rights, they're not demanding. I've seen them. They'll leave me do it for them.
Well, I think, what about this injunction now, Patrick? They're slapping on injunctions on parents after they've had their children kidnapped by plainclothes or police without warrants. Even if a parent has got a warrant, a court order, a care order in favor of the children are still being repeatedly kidnapped, as you know from the case, the case I'm referring to.
Yeah, I know, yeah, but I don't take any notice of them because they're not. That didn't come from the people, did it?
No, but people are still terrified, Patrick. They still fear being falsely kidnapped. They're kidnapping people now. They almost kidnapped the mother of these two children, and they almost kidnapped their Mackenzie friends. So this is a real threat, and this is how the Satanists have been terrorizing the British public.
If you had a football team turn up at the court, what would happen? Wouldn't that reverse it? If they can turn up for a football match, surely to God it's more important than what's going on in the courts.
Go on, sorry, Darren.
No, Lilo, please continue.
No, I was going to say that we've got CAD numbers when we've witnessed treason, Patrick and I and a few of our friends, and I've done that a few times, where I've come out of court, I've witnessed treason, I've called the police have gone in and said to the judge, and then the judge has said, "Oh, I didn't do any proceedings, I've just adjourned the matter, but then I've got a court order given to me by a solicitor. That court order is still going ahead." And I've told another judge that the judge told the police that the matter was adjourned, but this court order is now £72,000 worth, and it's now going through this Thomas More building. So the whole thing is a fraud. They don't care about law, and with what we're dealing with here is treason on a daily basis in the courts, and people are terrified because they get threatened with contempt of court, and they it's just a case of empowering people and say, you've got the right to arrest the judge there and then if you witness treason. If the judge doesn't give you what you go there to do, he can't give you anything else. You can arrest him for treason. It's simple, isn't it?
Yeah, it's simple, and that's what's going to be happening. That is what's going to be happening. But the people have got to. The people have got to back it.
That's quite right. I mean, you need the people, as you quite rightly stated a few minutes ago, Patrick. If 50,000 people can turn up for a football game.
Yeah, exactly.
Surely, what's more important, yeah?
Right. What's more important?
Now, I've been asked to give a special shout out to our brothers and sisters in the National Liberty Alliance over in the USA. What's your thoughts on it all, Rosemary?
My thoughts? Well, it's got to be we the people. You know, like I tell people, we are for the people, by the people. We are the people. The people have to stand for integrity, honesty, justice, and God. Our countries are founded by God. We were created that way, and they're taking it all away. So if they take it all away from us and we don't have it no more, and they're taking our children.
People have seen me do it, right? But I can't see many more people doing it. And why? Why can't I show these people what's, you know what I mean? I've had to learn all this, and we're dealing with gangsters, and we're dealing with organised crime. And as I say, a public servant paid by the state, sitting in judgment of their masters. Sure, it doesn't take the brains of Einstein to tell you that that's wrong.
Of course not. It's clearly evident. I mean, we couldn't have made it more. We couldn't have explained it more plainly for those listening out there that these places are purely corporations. They no longer represent the people. They've not done for quite some time. They're just there to simply facilitate the greed and the lust of these private banksters. Patrick, we're going to have a cup of tea, brother.
Yeah, okay then, right?
Right, we've got a couple of minutes. Andy, do you want to give out some phone numbers and so people can phone in and have a chat with Patrick? Because in the second half, we're going to be going into the solutions, how we can hold these people to account.
We need the remedies.
Yes,
right?
indeed.
It's got to be one of the horror stories, but we need remedies.
7 p.m. tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Saturday is Sherry Kelly and myself with Brian Clare, child abuse campaigner and survivor. If you want a bit of spiritual on Sunday at 5 p.m. UK, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, it's live healing with the psychic surgeon Andrew Porter. So we'll just put you back onto Darren now.
Cheers, Andy. Right, okay, so we're going to be joined this half by Neil Chowdhury, who we had on the show a couple of weeks ago. Fantastic campaigner, whistleblower, and exposer of the corrupt system. Now, we're hoping to get Reverend Rosemary Dalton on. She should be phoning in at some point, Andy. Now, I do have her Skype here. Would I be able to add it to this call? Is it as simple as that, or what?
You could try it, but I don't think it works that way anymore.
Oh. All right, well, she said she'd give us a ring. Basically, Reverend Rosemary, she's from Missouri. Some listeners may remember a couple of weeks back. She was the lady who phoned in. She was quite upset at the time. She explained how the children had been, or at least her son had been stolen off her when she was a young mum, and the problems and the battles she had for justice. Now, she phoned in, Rosemary, and of course she was quite upset at the time. And I mean, it wasn't the kind of subject that it would go into lightly. I mean, it deserved a bit more time, and you just couldn't cram it into a show. So, in any case, I contacted Rosemary after the show a couple of days later, and we got bumping a few ideas off each other and whatnot. And basically, the essence of it was a crime on one is a crime on all. And within this day of the internet and whatnot, we could hold them, when I say them, the system, the private banking Ponzi scheme that keeps everyone in debt, slavitude. We could hold them to account. Now, it was a very, vague idea, and we kind of built on it. I mean, I took it to the group here in Wales, and I spoke to a couple of people about it, and I also spoke to Neil Chowdhury about it. Is Neil in yet, Andy?
No, it works. You have to say that you're calling her in, and then I do what you say.
Oh, there you are. Well, get Neil lined up then, right? Because we're almost ready. If that's possible. But in any case, we hope to have these two, Nilo and Rosemary, myself and Patrick, and we're going to discuss how we can get things sorted out, within the people and different remedies, including setting up grand juries, common law courts, and maybe if it could be possible to do something on an international level with the technologies that are available today. I don't see. Oops, what we got there?
Nilo's coming on this way.
There we go.
Hello.
Are there any, Nilo?
Yes, I'm here, Darren. Hi.
Good evening. I'll just let my listeners know about. I hope to be joined by a lady, Rosemary Dog, who I spoke to before the show about briefly, and yourself. Now we got Patrick with us this evening, and we're just going to go into some solutions now. Myself, you, and Andy, and a few others have been talking about certain remedies we can do whilst using the modern technology we have. Would you like to give the listeners a little insight into the kind of ideas we've been floating about, and then Patrick, it'd be great to hear your comments on it also then after that.
Right, okay.
Brilliant.
All right. Well, I mean, I call myself like an advocate for India and Pakistan for the legal.
That's right, and we shall get into them in the second hour, Patrick, shan't we?
Yeah, thank you. That's good.
Yeah, we'll have a cup of tea. And Andy, do you want to give out the phone numbers, mate? I've not got them in front of me. And we'll have a cup of tea, is it, or what?
Yeah.
freedomtalkradio.co.uk.
Let's go!
This is the most diverse, most amazing, one of the funniest radio stations you could ever listen to on the internet. I've heard so much stuff from the ups, the downs, the left, the right.
The politics, the non-politics, the schmolitics, whatever you want to call them.
It's great.
Yeah, the number to call from the USA and Canada is 347-677-0812. From around the world, it's 001-347-677-0812. From the UK, it's 01444390270. That's 01444390270. Just a shout out for next week's Common Law Court of Wales show. We have Moosdip. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And we've got Karen Annette. Don't forget, tomorrow night we have Edmund Dantis regarding Chester Social Services.